Big story. So the Reggae Boyz are facing a must-win game against Curacao tonight at the National Stadium in Kingston. A win would secure Jamaica's spot in the 2026 World Cup, while a loss could jeopardize their chances. The match is more than just a football game. It's a symbol of hope and resilience for Jamaicans still reeling from Hurricane Melissa. The team is determined to make their nation proud and bring joy to a country in need of a lift. Will they be able to deliver that? Well, let me find out from two experts. We welcome this morning the General Manager of the Harborview FC, Clyde Juredini. Morning, Clyde.
Hi, good morning, Richie. Good morning to your listeners worldwide. I'm Andrew.
Thank you very much, Clyde. And Andrew Price, former assistant national football coach and another football expert that we're proud to have with us this morning. Morning, Andrew.
Morning, Richie B. Morning, Clyde. Morning, listeners.
It is a Herculean task. It's down to this final match. Clyde, what are your thoughts as the Reggae Boyz plan to take on that challenge this evening?
Hoping that the players, coaching staff, and the team will get a win from the game. It's our only option of going through, quite frankly. I must tell you, I'm not very confident based on the performances that we have actually produced. The team selection has always been dodgy. The substitutions have failed for the most part to improve our game going throughout the game with our game management and the tactics employed, particularly in our two most important away games in Curacao and recently in Trinidad, have left much questions in my mind that our technical staff are not hitting the right notes, and the results has put us in a disadvantageous position now. Out of 3 results, 2 can go against us, and 1, only winning, is the real option for me to progress to the World Cup.
Andrew, from a coach's perspective, what's your reading into ahead of the match this evening?
Well, it's a must-win game, and despite all the setbacks that we have had throughout the entire qualification, we really didn't want it to come down to this last game, but it is what it is. And what has passed is water under the bridge, and we are doing it with a one-off game in which all Jamaica has to do is to win that game, and they qualify automatically to the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. And it's up to the team, and I believe the momentum and the camaraderie in the team right now is one of such. I passed by the camp yesterday, and it's one of such a confidence, and they are ready and willing to do what is necessary to get those 3 points, not only for themselves, but their families, Jamaica, and the entire diaspora, still reeling from Hurricane Melissa, and they want to put on a show and do something to uplift Jamaica people, to let them know that we are resilient and we'll continue to fight no matter what the odds.
Clyde, let's take a look at the strengths and weaknesses of the team as you see it.
The strength is that this is probably one of the best World Cup campaigns we have had in terms of one organization. And let's step back to the narrow vision, Richie. And Andrew, the narrow vision for me goes back to World Cup 98, when we qualified on November 16, 1977, inside the office, drawing 1-1 with Mexico. I will forget about the other 28 years before that, going back to the 60s and 70s, when we hardly competed. So let's look at that coming forward.
Yes.
There hasn't been any player protest for traveling. There hasn't been any player protest for wages. There haven't been arguments between the coaching staffs publicly for what has been happening. There has been coordination. The finances seem to be there from the JFF, because now FIFA also has taken other roles, and the relationship there is better. We are said to have now best qualified Jamaican players from home and overseas, and all have made themselves available, save for Greenwood, who clearly is out of the picture, in my view, at the moment. And we have had players who have come through the ranks in Jamaica and made it internationally and come back and served. This is the easiest draw I've ever seen in a World Cup campaign. All Caribbean teams, the top 6 teams in CONCACAF, we don't play against them. It's only 6 games we play as against twice as much that we play at this stage before. So this is a gift, and we have stumbled through it, and now we have to stand up and win one game to get through, and I'm hoping that we can do that tonight.
Andrew, we've always heard talk that the midfield is a problem for Jamaica, and I'm also concerned about the defense, especially against Curacao. What's your reading into the weaknesses and the strengths of the team?
Well, the team collectively has to play organized today. And, when you need a must-win match, one of the things you don't want to do is to throw caution to the wind, go with all-out attack, and not be able to defend properly. So basically, the team has to have some amount of balance. We have to be organized defensively, be very circumspect in the early goings of the game, ensure that we keep the shape, we're organized defensively. And when we get the opportunity, we use what is best for us, which is our speed and athleticism, and break out on the flanks with people like Cephas, whether it's Whisper, whether it's Dixon, whether it's Damari Gray. Utilize the flanks efficiently and get the balls into the box. But I believe the players are hungry. They want to do well for their country. They want to do well for the people in Western Jamaica who were hit badly, and I believe they will come up trumps. When you look at the entire qualification that we have had, when we saw the draw, we thought this was the easiest draw. The word being used predominantly was soup. Jamaica should easily qualify.
Yes.
It has not gone to plan, but the fact of the matter, we have one last bite at the cherry now to get it done, and I believe the camaraderie and the talent that the Jamaica team has, they will come out tonight with the crowd as a 12th man to push them over the line.
Interestingly, I think I saw a comment from the coach saying that he always told them that it would be down to the final match. And while we talk about Coach Steve McLaren, let me bring back Clyde in and ask him what strategy, Clyde, do you think that the coach should employ this evening, especially in terms of formation?
Well, he has predominantly used a 4-3-3 formation. And it has worked sometime, and it hasn't worked. What, as Andrew said a while ago, what we need to do is get the right balance. And I go across the board with the word balance. Balance in terms of selecting the right players. He has not done so in most matches, and especially in the last game that he played. He has not selected the right balance of strategy, when to go defensive, when to go attacking. Drawing today's game is not an option. So he has to go for a team that can win, which means you have to score more goals than the other team. To do that, he has to pick the players who have the right chemistry, who have shown current form, and the combination, and that's worked. That's closer to the team that played against Bermuda and won Furlong most recently. And let's hope he goes to that. Kaheem Dixon, Cephas, Nicholson as the front players should be starting. Casey Carter is here, but I'm understanding he's not fit enough to play. His combination in midfield with Russell and Holgate has been the strongest midfield. Bobby Reid continues to be, in my view, a passenger in the field and plays defensively and minor roles, and they have to step up. Our defense has been in and out and continue to show that they are not coordinating as well as they could, because we continue to chop and change our defensive network. Goalkeeper and captain Andre Blake has to be at his best, because keeping a clean sheet is premium tonight. But if you allow a goal, then we have to score more. So it's scoring goals that is the linchpin, and that comes down to the 3 players I named, in addition to Dujan Whisper Richards, adding to that and Tyrese Campbell, who has come on and showed some form from time to time. But let's see how that goes. It's the transition in the middle of the field that to me is urgent. And we need to have more players in the midfield because as the Dutch-oriented team showed us the last game when they beat us 2-0, this 4-3-3 formation is what they thrive on. I went to coaching coaches there. 4-3-3 is their best combination, and you played best with more players in midfield, and we have shown that we have not selected the right midfielders. Our midfield is our area of weakness. That's my main concern.
Andrew, what would your starting 11 or the majority of your starting team look like on an evening like this?
Well, on an evening like this, Richie and listeners, we need to have warriors out there. People who wear their hearts on their sleeves and go out there willing to get dirty. We cannot allow Curacao to play today, so we need a very robust midfield. A midfield that will disrupt their passing game. And I am a little bit unorthodox towards what the coach has been doing. And my selection today in the midfield, I would start Damian Lowe in the midfield today, along with Isaac Hayden and possibly Young Dixon. Defensively, I would start with Greg Lee at left back. At right back, I would start with Limbikisa because we need defenders who can go from box to box, and Limbikisa is a good attacking fullback. Of course, we have Pinnock. I hear Richard King is back and is available, so Pinnock and Richard King in central defense. And up front, we have Cephas, who I believe is the best winger in the entire CONCACAF. And I believe that there's no team out there that can contain him. And once he has the game that I expect him to have, he will provide assists and give us opportunities to get goals. And of course, our number 9, I believe it should be Shamar Nicholson, and then out wide, Damari Gray. So it should be that lineup, I believe, will put us in the best chance to get the 3 points today. But definitely at the end of the day, it's all up to the coach to decide who he wants to play. But the fact of the matter, I believe that's the best 11 for us to get some success tonight.
Okay. Clyde, what role do you believe set pieces might play in a match like this?
Oh, set pieces are always part of the game and count for much. And usually the more disciplined team and the team who is calm under pressure tends to execute there. So that can go either way. We have conceded as scored from set pieces. And I don't know the stats of the Curacao team in that regard, but they have shown discipline, they have shown stick-to-itiveness, they are highly motivated. They could become the smallest nation ever to qualify for a World Cup. Their coach has a family problem, so they have added motivation to play for, and they have a distinct advantage in the results. 2 of the 3 options from the game tonight go in their favor. So the discipline is going to be there, the focus is going to be there, and as Andrew continues to say, is who really focuses and performs on night to night that will get us over the bridge and into the World Cup or out.
Andrew, is it still a major concern, the number of quote-unquote foreign-based players that are in the lineup? And are you seeing any improvement in terms of more local players getting a look in?
Well, when you say vis-a-vis local players, we have a lot of players who were born and grown in Jamaica, honed their skills, and have gotten contracts and have gone overseas. And then you have comparatively a lot of English-based players from Jamaican parentage, whether they're second or first generation parents have allowed them to play. But what we need a balance, and we need to have the best players out there, irrespective of what club you play for. I believe chemistry and warriorship is what is most important tonight. I think Jamaica's best game throughout the entire qualification was when we defeated Bermuda 4-0 in the office at the National Stadium, where there was excellent chemistry. We saw movement in midfield. We saw movement up front. We saw defensive stoutness. And I believe that is the blueprint of which we need to use tonight to get the 3 points that will take us to the World Cup. I mean, when you look at the entire round, Jamaica has led the standings 3 rounds out of the 5. That must count for something, and I believe the coach should tell the players that the only time they have led the round is when they have lost to Curacao and when they have drawn the game against Trinidad, and all games were away. So we have an opportunity to get it right tonight at the National Stadium behind 30,000 people cheering and willing us on. And I believe that the players are the ones who are going to do it tonight for their country.
Final question, for the same question to both Clyde and Andrew. What do you see as the likely outcome, and are you prepared to make a prediction? Clyde?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure who you're directing question to. I never know. I mean, I'll go with my heart and my emotion and my devotion to Jamaica that hopefully we get a win. But my head and the football results from analysis suggest to me that it will be a drawn game.
Andrew?
Jamaica will win the game today. I won't predict the margin. At least, actually, I'm going to predict the margin. I think Jamaica will win the game by 2-0. But if we only score 1 and 1 is what is needed to win the game, then we'll take the 1. So it's either a Bob Marley or a 2-0 margin.
All right. Andrew Price, thank you so much. Clyde Juredini as well. Thank you. Gentlemen, have a good time, and we catch you at the match later.
Okay, bye.
Thanks for having me, Richie.